and welcome to episode #6 of the Chit Chat Podcast. Thank you for everyone's response to last week's podcast with Richie Hayes and Johnny Ward. Your support means the world to me as I'm still learning and finding my feet with the podcast game and stuff. So I appreciate your patience and for bearing with me. Now, remember, if you haven't already, please subscribe to us on YouTube, Apple Podcast, and Spotify. We are trying to get 100 subscribers across all our platforms. And when we do, there will be a nice little competition up for grabs. And to anyone that has subscribed, thank you so much. I do appreciate your support. Now, the other day, One Direction has celebrated 10 years since they started. And I was going, why not get someone on the podcast who has experience being part of a boy band and more? Well, lads, here it is, straight out of Tipperary. It's my good pal from Louis Walshes Boyband Hometown, the one and only Dayl Cronin. Dayl, thanks so much for coming on the podcast.
Boom. Nice. Jeez, that was some intro, man. Thank you very much. Easy, Mac.
How's things?
Thanks for having me.
No worries, man. It's been a pleasure to have you. Now, look,
it's all good.
I know what people are thinking. Yes, I've done Panto with Dayl and the last 3 people I had on the podcast, and I'm enjoying dragging it out, and I'm going to continue to do so until I've got every single person. Look,
you might as well.
Dayl, how's your lockdown been, man?
It's been good, man. Jeannie Mac, it's been great. Just, you know what? I'm just enjoying the 6-month-long holiday that I'm currently on, and long may it last.
Absolutely.
No, it's good.
Now, before we delve into your story and your career and so on, we have to talk about Dancing with the Stars, because after I had Johnny on the podcast, they announced there isn't going to be a series in 2021. Now, maybe I'm the jinx, probably. When you heard the news of the show stopping, how did that make you feel? Because I know you were so passionate about the show.
Yeah, I was gutted and really shocked. Just to see that they were cancelling it, for the year. Now, I'd say they will bring it back the following year, but still it'll be a big loss, because I know for a fact every household in Ireland, come 6:30 on a Sunday, all sit down, whether you're having your dinner or you just had your dinner, you're sitting down for the 2 hours you're watching it, and it's just a great family show to watch.
Yeah.
And it'll be a big loss. Next year. I was gutted, like, couldn't get over it. Couldn't believe it, like.
It's sad because the show was becoming more and more popular, like you said, each year, and it's because it's such a diverse show where it can appeal to people at the younger generation and people of the older generation. Love it, and that's what's so special about it. How did the whole Dancing with the Stars thing come about for you?
So Louis got an email, and he emailed then Keane, because Keane was the lad that rather than Louis emailing 6 of us, he just emailed Keane, and then Keane would send it on to us. So Louis got an email and was like, look, we're starting up Dancing with the Stars, first ever series. We'd love one of your lads, to be honest. And Keane sent it on to me and was like, Dayl, I think this is for you. And yeah, that was kind of it. And I just kind of got the emailed them back, was like, yeah, but straight away I knew. I didn't even read the email. I just saw dancing, and I said yes. It could have been pole dancing or strip dancing. I could have been naked dancing for all, and I would have said yeah before I'd even seen it.
Well, that's an offer for anyone listening. Hit him up on Instagram. He said it here first. He said it here first.
I got that email, and then I went up to Dublin. I had an interview with RTE and Shinawil. And just went through a few things, and they were like, look, it's a big commitment. We're starting the end of November, and if you keep going till the final, you're there till March. So that's like November, December, January. That's like 5 months, 5 months work. And they were like, can you commit to it? And I was like, yep, I can commit to it, because at the time I knew we were taking a break.
Yeah.
I knew coming up to them as a band, we said we were going to take a break and just explore different ventures. And this was my venture that I was very fortunate to have.
Yeah. And now I think your routine on Switch Up Week became a bit iconic. We'll talk about your training in dance in a few, but ballroom is a completely different technique and style. How was adjusting to different styles of ballroom each week, and what kind of challenges did you face?
Yeah, yourself being a trained dancer, like, we're trained in completely polar opposite areas.
Yeah.
Yes, there's technique to it, but me as a dancer, I'm not really a technically trained dancer. Like, yes, I have a bit of technique in me, but in comparison to ballroom and Latin and like all those styles, I am such an amateur when it came to that. Yes, I had an advantage in the fact that I could pick it up a bit quicker from dancing previous,
Yeah.
when you're in a class for an hour and you have 20 minutes to learn a routine and you need to learn that 2-minute routine in those 20 minutes. So I
Yeah.
had that advantage, but at the same time, the technique side of things was really tough, like with your frame and everything. Like, people don't understand how difficult it is, especially being a male, because the male has to always lead the dances.
Yes.
It's different when, the female celebrities go on. Yes, they still have their job is nearly twice as hard, because they have to be thrown in the air and spun around and just hope to God that this
Nice
man will
save.
just
Nice save.
trust them.
Nice
No,
save.
but no, but it is true. It is true. It is true. So like both sides have it tough. But like for me, I did struggle a couple of weeks, especially in the tango. I think tango was my second week. I really struggled that week.
Yeah.
Because I just couldn't get the frame and the technique, and it had to be serious. It was tough. It was tough, but I loved every single minute of it.
And do you think your training helped in a way, because you had that kind of level of understanding going in with technique, but like, especially like pas de deux and stuff, which is like ballet, what we would do at college. Pas de deux. Well, is even like lifting the girl, is that on a whole different technique as what you would have been used to as well?
Yes and no. Like certain lifts I had kind of done previously in college. Like I can't remember what week it was, but we did contemporary ballroom, and obviously in college I trained in contemporary. So a lot of lifts that we did were fairly similar. Now there was one or two that I'd still never done before, but like we did kind of like nearly like the Dirty Dancing lift, but she didn't take her hands off. We kind of
love
did
the
that
old Dirty
lift, and I
Dancing
had
lift,
done that
myself and you.
before. We love the Dirty Dancing lift. Oh, I had done that lift before, but again, I'd been out of training. I was 23 on the show. I'd been out of training since I was 19.
Yeah.
I hadn't lifted someone properly in dance wise for a long time. And you know yourself, it's like anything. If you don't keep at it, you'll forget it and you'll become rusty at it. So it was difficult, but I still managed it.
Now, look, this podcast is about delving into the careers and journeys of people I have on the show. How did Baby Dayl discover his love for performing?
Baby Dayl,
Baby Dayl.
Baby Dayl discovered his love of dancing thanks to Mammy Angela. So it was my mom when I was 7. My cousin used to do dancing in a place in Clonmel, and my mom put me into it just to see what I would do, because like she did, like I was into soccer and stuff like that, and I wasn't really mad into it, and she put me into the dancing, and from there I don't remember what happened, but I just stayed at it and just kept going. Like I was the only lad in the whole of Clonmel in the dancing. There was probably about 200 girls there and me, and that was it. And I just kept at it and I absolutely loved it. And just then in sixth year, it wasn't until sixth year, January of sixth year, I was like, I want to do this as a career. So like people out there freaking out, being like, they're in like first year in school and they're going, what am I going to do with my life? And I'm like, I still don't know what I want to do with my life. I'm 26. I still even don't know what's going on. So it was that last minute. I was just like, look, I think this is what I want to do. Went away to England to train, and best decision ever made.
And did you have anything, like, was there something you wanted to do before dance that you kind of had a pathway of going towards?
Yeah, I did want to do PE teaching. Because I just kind of was into like I kind of, as I got older, I got into soccer a bit more. I started playing soccer and things like that, and I like basketball and I like sports. And I was always teaching dancing. I started teaching dancing in my dance school in Clonmel at the age of 11. I started teaching boys classes and I was teaching the girls as well. So I always knew teaching was something I liked, and I was like, I'd love to do PE teaching. But the points were way too high and I was way too stupid in school. So I was like, no, this is not for me. I was like, I was like, I'm not going to achieve those points of 9,000 points that you need in school. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, so I just kind of was like, dancing is what I want to do. And look, you never know. There's still time. I could go back to college. You never know.
Now, you went on to train in professional musical theatre and dance in Leicester in England, which I think a lot of people aren't really aware of. Before the boy band thing came about, was West End the musicals a dream for you?
Yeah, before the boy band came about, my dream was to be like a backing dancer for like Chris Brown or Derulo or someone like that. That was kind of the dream. But then in being in college, I was like, I don't want to be in the back. I don't want to be dancing in the back. I want to be out the front. I want to be the J. Derulo. Do you know what I mean? People that know me when I was in school, like I was like, I thought I was class. Like I was like, oh, I'm going to be famous one day. Do you know what? When you're in school, you're like, I'm going to be famous. Like this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
And yeah, then I went away to England, and a few people were like, I remember in my second year, we had like, you know, the way you have your assessments, like your singing assessments and stuff.
Yeah.
And our topic was pop songs. So I
Yeah.
went in and sang a One Direction song. And afterwards, your mom was like to me, he was like, you need to be in a band. He was like, you are such a cheesy boy band member. And then literally, I'd say a month later, the auditions came up for the band. And I was like, if that's not a sign, then I don't know what is, like,
Yeah.
you know.
And I was about to ask you that. How did you find your experience at college? And do you think that training helped you get into the band?
Oh, big time. Gee, if I hadn't gone to college, I definitely wouldn't have gotten into the band. Because
Yeah.
being in college helped me grow in confidence in what I do. Like, and especially singing wise, I would never class myself as an amazing singer. And in college, then with singing lessons and stuff, I improved my voice, and I started to like singing, and I
Yeah.
started to get into it. And yeah, so if it wasn't for college, I would never have even, I don't think, even considered going for the band.
Yeah.
Well, I probably went, but I definitely wouldn't have got in because my voice wasn't as trained. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? I been training my voice for 2 years, and then the opportunity came up at the band, so I knew kind of how to use my voice a bit more.
And I
But
think,
yeah, definitely college stood to me
yeah.
for.
And I think that's so important. Like people sometimes forget at college, like you don't realize how your training will come into play because you never know what's around the corner. Like, you know?
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? Exactly. Like, so like I like definitely, even though you're probably in class going, oh, what's this going to do for me? But you never know down the line. Like, you could be in an audition and they'll say, look, we want you to do this, this, and this, and you're going, thank God I went to that class on a Wednesday. I
Yeah.
didn't go to sleep. You know what I mean? And it is, but you know, but when you're younger as well, though, you're like, oh, I have to go to this class now. I have to go to this class. But honestly, going to class is the best thing for you because it will stand to you in down the line.
Yeah. Now, Hometown, which we've been briefly talking about, which is Louis Walsh, for anyone that doesn't know, it's Louis Walshes Boyband. What was the audition process like for a band?
It was kind of like, I don't know how to describe it. It was just like I rocked up on, so it was a 3-day audition first, and
Yeah.
I rocked up on the last day, and there was rumors that the last day wasn't even going ahead, and I was like, oh, typical, like.
Yeah.
I rocked up, and there was a couple of hundred lads there on that day, and you literally went in, gave in your name, they gave you a number, and next thing, like, you know, they'd call 10 people up to the side of the stage, and then you'd walk up one at a time, say your name, your age, where you're from, what you're going to sing. And yeah, then I remember I went up, had my bag and everything in me, put my bag beside me, said what I had to say in front of like Louis Walsh, Linda Martin, a load of people,
Yeah.
sang the song, and they literally went, thanks. And I walked out the back door and was just no. But then I got a call like 2 seconds later, like, you come back.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, and then that's kind of it. Then we came back, and the auditions went on for a couple of months, and like they put us into different groups, like different groups of 5, to see how we'd all work together and
Yeah.
harmony, stuff like that. And it just went on for about 3-4 months, and yeah, it was good. It was nerve wracking because they brought in like a camera crew one day,
Okay.
and I remember they brought in the camera crew, and we were singing a song. It was "The Climb" by Miley Cyrus, and we all had a solo, like a verse.
The Climb. God, I remember that song. Jeez.
Oh, I know. And
Wow.
we sang the song, and it came to me, and a couple of lads had like changed the melody of it, and it was stuck in my head, but I couldn't sing that melody. So I was like, and I just couldn't. Every time I messed up, every time. And I remember Louis came up to me and was like, what's going on? Are you nervous because of the cameras? I was like, not a hope. I was like, I've been around cameras all my life. Like, I'm on stage. Like, I don't know what's going on. And he was like, well, you can pull your shit together, like, or else,
Yeah.
you know, you're gone. I was like, ugh. But I pulled
Yeah.
it together anyway next time. And I was like, listen, I'm sorry. Like, and then he was like, yeah, I didn't know what was going on. But yeah, thank God, because Jesus, I thought it was gone. I thought it was a goner, like. But yeah, it was good.
Now, what's the story you have of one of the other lads or something giving Linda Martin a striptease or a lap dance in the audition? I mean,
oh, Keane will be sick of me saying this, but Keane Martin, so we had the audition, and it had finished, and I was right back to Leicester, and they were like, look, day's done, the audition's over, we'll be in touch. I said, grand. So I went left, and when I left, they did a dance. They wanted to see the lads be confident and dance and stuff. So Linda Martin sat in a chair in the middle, and they all had to do a dance. I all had to go up to her and like dance on top of her, like.
oh no.
And Keane does. He lifts up his belly, and he can like make his belly like really roll, like. So he did that on top of Linda Martin, and like he don't even know what Linda Martin is at the time, and Linda Martin don't know who he is. lad from Mayo, like, and he's there. But fair play to him, because he was a memorable thing, and obviously that's what stood to him, and that's how he
Hey,
got
look,
in.
I mean, you have to book the gig somehow, don't you?
Yeah, so fair play to him for doing it. Like, I wouldn't have had the guts to do something like that now. But I wish
Oh,
I was there to witness it. I wish I
yeah.
saw it.
Now,
Yeah.
when you got the call to say, look, Dale, you're in the band, do you remember
Yeah.
where you were and what that feeling was like?
Yeah, we were in audition. So it was the last set of auditions. There was only 10 lads left, and we'd like 4 days of auditions, like 4 hard days, like.
Yeah.
And on the last day, then he was like, right, I'm gonna pick the band. And he'd already picked Ryan the day before. He was like, Ryan's in the band or whatever. And then the next day, then he picked. He was like, we were all sitting on like a couch in the academy. So it was like a square. It was like a square kind of couch thing, and I was sitting there. I was sitting at the very end, and so he was at the other side, and he was like, right, Brendan is in, and then we're all like, oh, well done, well done, well done. And Keane is in, well done, well done, well done, and he like walked all the way down to me. I was just sitting there. I was like, I'm gonna get sick. Like, I don't know what's going on. Who he's gonna pick? He's picked me. I was just sitting there, and I was sitting there like this, and he just put his hand on my shoulder, and I just went, oh my God. And he was like, you're in. And I was like, how did I get in? Like, how? What is going on? Like, but I couldn't believe it. And I remember then I ran out to my mom and was like, I got in, and we were all screaming, and it was like, ah. And oh, it was just the biggest buzz ever. Like, just insane. Like, and mental.
Did all you guys get on originally, and was it easy or was it hard to gel together? Because I think it's a good sign of a boy band is like that good chemistry. But obviously you got loads of different personalities. So how was it gelling together at the start?
It was great. It was actually grand, because like we all nobody knew of each other before, and then in the auditions, because the audition went on for about 4 or 5 months, so we all kind of got to know each other then. Do you know what I mean? And like I had my first ever fillet roll during those auditions. I'd never eaten a chicken fillet roll before in my life.
Here.
I know.
Here. And you're from Tipperary. You're from Tipperary.
I know. It's just because I was very weird with like food. Like, I'm very plain.
I actually forgot about that. Anytime we go out for something to eat together, you're just, no, do you want this? No. You want it? No.
Yeah, I know.
You're a plain.
But,
Jesus.
Yeah, so the lads, I remember they got me the chicken fillet roll with cheese and butter, and it changed my life. I was like, what am I missing out on here? Like, this is insane. But I
didn't think that would be the answer. How did you get on? Chicken fillet roll.
This is exclusive there. Not many people know about the chicken fillet roll.
Yeah. Oh, thanks. Exclusive. Jeez, we get loads of exclusive lately.
But yeah, no, we actually did. So like, because Josh auditioned for the band, but he actually didn't get in originally. Yeah. And then he was a couple of months later. So myself, Ryan, Keane, and Brendan, we all got along. Like, we all got along really well, and because we were excited, and we were like, look, if this is to work, like, we need to get on. And we did. Like, we'd all meet up, and like we'd have a few drinks, or we'd rehearse and stuff and get to know each other really well. And so it was kind of, we all clicked. Like, we clashed every now and again. It's like anything, everybody clashes when you're hanging out too much. Like, especially when you have 6 lads in the van traveling around Ireland and England. Do you know, you get like, your heads do clash a small bit. Like, you're tired, you're up at 4 a.m. You know, so like we had our arguments, but like they're sorted within the day. Do you know what I mean? You know, like, lads are lads. Like, you have your argument, you sort it, you move on. Like, you know,
end the discussion.
So, yeah, exactly. So yeah, no, we did. We all got along really well, and it worked, and it was just great crack. That's literally all it was. It was just such good crack. You know, when are you ever going to say, like, I was in a boy band for 3 years, traveling England, Ireland, and went to see all these places? And supported all these. I mean, it's mad. So like, it's just weird, because I was only saying it to my mom the other day. I was like, you know, it's going to be weird, like, you know, in however many years, whatever, when I like start getting older and start having a family and stuff. Next thing, my kids are on YouTube and they're going, is that you? And I'm like, this is a big like fat lump, like, yeah, that's me. Back when I was skinny, like, I was class. You know, like
the baby Dell's baby.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, it was crazy, and it's a brilliant experience that I've done, and I absolutely loved it. Like,
now, you opened up for Ollie Murs in Ireland in 2015 and supported the Vamps on their Ireland and UK tour. What was the highlight of those experiences? Because you guys played massive venues, in fairness. You guys did.
Yeah, it was crazy. Like, playing the Tree Arena and like the London O2. Like, London O2 is, I think, like 80,000 people or something.
Yeah, it's mad being there, isn't it?
like I got to backflip down that ramp, like, do you know what I mean? It's things like that will always
Yeah.
stay with you. Or like did a gig for Coca-Cola in Spain.
Yes.
80,000 people as well, I think, or something crazy like that, with Megan Trainor and a lot of other people. It was just
Yeah.
insane. But the highlights, man, they're like, everyone asks me this question. I'm like, they're all highlights in themselves.
Yeah, of
You can't
course.
just be like, you know, like, because they're all different gigs, like, and they're all different people, different, you know, so like all of them have their own thing that I'm like, I absolutely loved every single one of them. Like the Ollie Murray's gig, the time in the Three Arena, we actually had our own gig that night as well. So we did our own gig. I think it was in Drogheda. So we did a gig in Drogheda at like, I think it was like 6 to 8, and then got in the van, booted it down to Ollie Murray's for 9:30 to open for him. Yeah. Oh, we literally, I remember we were all getting changed and like spraying and booted it down. And literally just got there, no sound check. Threw in the in-ears, got the mic, out you went, did your couple of songs. I was
straight out of Drogheda onto the, wow.
Yeah.
That's mental.
And then we actually had to leave. We literally did the gig. We met Ollie Murray's, supported him, and then got into the van and left again because we had a gig the next day in another city in Ireland. And it was just, so like half the time, like people think like, oh, he's such an easy life, like you're traveling and you're getting to stay in all these fancy hotels. And I'm like, no, like we're going from gig to gig to gig to gig, sleeping, eating, and that's it. Like, do you know what I mean? So you don't really get to let it all sink in until, like, you know, you have your like 1 or 2 or 3 days off, and you get to like sit.
Like you said, people don't realize the work behind the scenes, because they only see, you know what, like you on stage and in the different places around the world, Ireland, UK, and whatever. But I say the schedules are tough, are they?
They are tough. Like to be fair, like we'd have a couple of weeks off or whatever, or a couple of days, and then you just get an email, and next you're going, oh Jesus, we've done 3 months here of non-stop going, like. So like it was, but that's like, I'm like, speaking personally, I love that. You know me, I love working. Like, I hate sitting around doing absolutely nothing. Now, granted, with lockdown, I'm absolutely loving my time, because since I've been 17, I've just been on the go, living in England, and then on the road then with the band and stuff, and then obviously down in Cork with the school. But like, just the schedules are hectic, because, you know, you get up in the morning, you do a couple of schools, like you go perform at schools, you might have radio then at like 1 or 2, do another school, you might have a CD signing somewhere, you'll have an event somewhere, and have a gig that night then, and then you're going to bed at like 12 o'clock. Well, actually, that's a total lie. Myself and Keane used to stay up till 1 or 2 because we used to do Snapchat stuff. Like anything, it wasn't a job, and we absolutely loved it. Do you know what I mean?
Did you ever cross paths with any of the One Direction lads? Because did Liam Payne write one of your songs or something?
Yeah, he did. He wrote The Night We Met. He wrote that song, but like he wrote, like, see how things work in the music industry is like people write the songs and they just send them to you. Or you would do the writing session with them, but we actually didn't do the writing session with him, which obviously is unfortunate. But he just sent us the song and like tweeted about it and stuff. So we never actually got to meet him, but we lived in his house. We lived in his apartment in London for 4 months.
No way.
Oh man, it was insane. Like 2-story apartments. Now, granted, there was only 2 beds in the thing, and there was 6 flats.
So you lived in Liam Payne's house in London, but never came across them. He just went, "There's the keys, boys. Off you go."
Literally never met the chap. Because see, our like Sony, our record company, sorted it out and things like that.
Yeah.
But it was mental. His house, the apartment was insane. Like the coolest thing I've ever seen. Like, so we're just a bunch of lads from Ireland going over to England to live in this absolutely fancy thing in like Canary Wharf in London. You know Canary Wharf.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? So it was mental. But no, unfortunately, we never got to meet them. We did get to meet one of the 5 Seconds of Summer lads.
Yeah.
We were staying in a hotel that they were staying in, and like, because there was a load of fans outside for like both of us, mainly for them. But we were staying there, and we were like, oh look, we'll stay down and like we'll have a few drinks and pretend like we'd be drinking here all day, and hopefully one of them will pass. So I'd say we were sitting about an hour or 2. Like the lads were drinking. I actually wasn't having any drinks that day. I wasn't bothered. Like, and then I was like, all right lads, I'm going to bed. Like, this is a joke. Like, so I went up to bed, stripped down, was literally just got into bed, was in the boxers chilling, and I think all the boys bust in the door. They're like, oh man, we just met Ashton from 5 Seconds of Summer. And I was like, no you didn't, like, you're lying. And look, showed me the picture. There he was. All the five lads got in a picture. And I was just like, what? And he was like, oh, they're after inviting us over to the pub for a few drinks. I never got dressed so quick in my life. So we went drinking. We went over to the pub. We were drinking with 5 Seconds of Summer lads, the Rixton lads. Do you remember them? Rixton.
Yeah.
And then a girl band there because one of them was going out with one of the Rixton lads. I can never remember the name of the girl band, but they were kind of like they were a cool like funky girl band because there was like they were like all different. There was like only 3 of them. I can't remember what they were called, but yeah, so there was us and all them drinking away. But now we were there for about an hour and then like we left or whatever. But like still, it was mental to be in the pub drinking with them. Like
Yeah, no, like I will talk to you about what's been your most crazy experience because I know you lads are probably used to having girls chasing you around very easily. But I won't ask you that because we spoke about it. But Louis Walsh, who everyone knows from the X Factor and managing Westlife and so on, what's the process of working with Louis? Is it a collaborative experience, and what does he like to work with behind the scenes?
do you know what? He's actually a lovely fella. Like he's actually really sound. Like people are like, oh, he's so stupid or whatever.
Yeah.
He's not. If he was stupid, he wouldn't be one of the richest people in the world. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Or one
exactly.
of the most people in the world. I personally had no issues with him. He was very nice to me. He helped me get Dancing with the Stars. He also helped me get Panto. And he didn't even have because we as a band had split at the time, but he sorted all that for me. And he just was really nice to me. And he always he did praise me a fair bit. Like, you know, we did our gig in Vicar Street and he came up to me after and was like, you're born to be on that stage. Like, that was absolutely amazing. And, you know, you were insane. Like, that's where I excel. You know yourself, like when you're on stage, that's where we excel because that's what we love the most. We love performing to a crowd and stuff. But he was a lovely fella. And like, he did a lot behind the scenes for us that we didn't even realize. You know, a lot of things that we didn't know what he was doing, and next thing, you know, these things would happen for us and we're like, oh, these are just happening, but little did we know he was behind the scenes working so hard. You know, so he's a hard worker and lovely fella. Always took us out for dinner in like the Four Seasons and like paid for everything, and it was just brilliant. Class.
Bit awkward if he brings you up to the Four Seasons and goes, right lads, there's the bill, I'm off.
And we won not a hope. Are we paying $3,000 for a burger?
Now look, you guys decided to split around December 2016. What made you guys decide to part ways and go on your individual paths?
Yeah. Just at the time, gigs were kind of getting a bit scarce. And, you know, a couple of deals had fallen through. Like, we were meant to go to Japan, that fell through. We were meant to go somewhere else, that fell through. And we were just like, you know what? It's kind of like, and like One Direction has just broken up. And we were like, oh, maybe boy bands are dead now. And then we were like, look, we're all still fairly young. Let's just take a break here, go off and do other things. Because like, a couple of lads want to go back to college. A couple of lads want to try the solo thing. And we're like, look, do that. And look, in a couple of years, we could get back together. You never know. But
so are you saying there's a chance we might see Hometown back again?
You never know. Look, you never know. Honestly, you just can't tell. You don't know what's around the corner, and you don't know. You're like, this is an exclusive.
Come on, tell us.
I know, like, I honestly don't know. Like, we're all still in touch. Like, we all still have the group chats still going.
Yeah.
In WhatsApp and stuff, and we all send in every now and again, see how everyone's getting on and stuff. So like, we still are good friends and we're still in touch with each other. So you just don't know. You really don't know.
Sure. Look, if anyone listening that's a fan of Hometown, they might. We might.
You never know.
But look, you moved on to your solo career and you did have great success with your single "Runaway Love," which you saw on your Instagram yesterday just reached 200,000 streams. First of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
How was the process of being your own artist and songwriting for yourself?
Yeah, so like I was only talking about streams the other day, and I was like, oh, I'll look up my song, see how many streams it has. Like, it only has a couple of thousand, like, surely.
Yeah,
200,000 get over, like,
that's
crazy.
Madness.
Now, bear in mind, it's been out 2 years, granted, but like, I couldn't believe it, like. But I actually didn't write that song. A lad called Robert Grace, who's actually doing really well now. He just got signed to Sony Records and stuff. Wow. And he's doing really well. The song is doing class. He actually wrote the song and sent it on to me and went down and recorded it and stuff. But like, it was class being my own artist because I sorted everything. So like, he gave me the song, that was grand. I sorted like the backing dancers, the venues, the videographer. I did the choreography. Set behind the whole thing, like myself and Ovi is his name, the director. We kind of had a chat and I said what I wanted and he kind of made my idea come to life. And it was class. Like, it was a lot of it was a tough work. Jeannie Mag, it was very tough.
Yeah,
but I loved it. It was great. Like, it was good. It was nice to see actually what goes on behind the scenes, because obviously when we were in the band, it was like, right lads, you have a music video tomorrow, here's your clothes, turn up, look good and do your job. And that was it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, this, like, right, I need to sort everything and I need to make sure everyone's good, and like a makeup artist as well and stuff.
Yeah.
So like, it was just yeah, it was tough. It was tough, but I loved it, and it was a great eye opener. And yeah, I kind of just released the one song, and I just kind of was like, I don't know, is this for me? Like, I don't know, do I want to do the solo thing? And then after that, then I opened up my dance school and stuff.
Yes.
Actually, no, sorry, I had my dance school open at the time anyway, but then I was like, look, I just kind of want to focus on that because I don't want to split myself into like 50 different ways.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, my dance school now is my main priority, to get that up and running, and then hopefully when that gets to a good place where I want it to be, I can then venture off and do other things.
Yes. Now, after Dancing with the Stars, you came to the world of Panto. Now, we met at first was in the Olympia Theatre, Panto, together when the band was in it, but we became proper friends, good friends, down at UCH, where we spent the last few years together. Because you have trained in musical theatre, now, this is a controversial topic. I know there's people that have this stigma about public faces doing Panto, that it's almost like frowned upon, like they aren't doing well and all this stuff. And now, not all people think this, but there is some. Like, Panto is amazing. You put together a show sometimes in 10 days. You know, the turnaround is ridiculous. And, like, the schedules are hectic. What do you love about Panto, and how's your experience been? Because you've also done Panto in England as well. And what do you think about the stigma? That's about 10,000 questions in one.
Yeah, I get what you're saying about the stigma. As people think like, oh, like celebrities are coming in and they're just kind of going, oh well, I've trained for 4 years to be you, but you just done your one thing and now you have it. But I'm like, I've also trained, so I've done the both sides. But I see where people are coming from. But I think, look, if like people should be allowed to do that. Do you know, if they want to get a celebrity in to do the role, and if they're good, then you know you can't really complain. But if they are kind of bad, then I get what you're saying. Like, but like, you know, I love Panto. People go like, oh, his career's gone down the drain 'cause he's doing Panto. No, it's not. Because Panto is where I get most of my money. No, people don't realize. No, like money aside, I'm still doing what I love. Like, I've trained to be a performer, so I'm performing at Christmas for 3 weeks. Do you know what I mean? For like 3 weeks and then 2 weeks rehearsals. So like, I'm still doing what I trained to do. So I don't know why people would be giving out to me about it. Like, I love Panto. Like, and like, also you're me and you met in Waterford in Breakbeat back in the day. But we used to do dancing down in Waterford together, and I used to go down every Friday, and Evan, obviously from Waterford, used to go. And then it wasn't only like a year, like 2 years ago, we were like, I met you in Waterford, and then I also met you in the Olympia, and just
it was mad because I remember the first table read we did for the first when you first came over to UCH, and I was looking at him, I was like, I did Panto with him in the Olympia. Then we got on, and then I think it was actually we were in Nando's. I think it was, and we were both talking about, oh, like, how did you get it started, whenever, and we were going, oh, I did this thing called Breakbeat, and you were like, I did Breakbeat. It's like, what did you do? I did it that day. Wait, what?
Yeah, it was crazy, man. It was mad to see, like, such a small world that, like, all those years ago when I was 13, and you would have been like, what? So you would have been, how old are you now?
I'm 21.
So I'm 26. So I was 13. You would have been 7 or 8.
I was only a baby cub.
Yeah. So, like, you know, like, it's just mad to see that we both did those things. And
like, if you're watching on YouTube, you can see I inspired to be you because we're wearing the same clothes as well. This is not even planned.
Look, it genuinely wasn't planned. I rocked on. Just bought this top yesterday. Was like, I'll wear it for Evan's thing. Rocked on. Saw him wearing this. I was like, oh no. But look, it's all about the Chit Chat podcast where we all wear the exact same clothes.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? We're doing it together. We're doing it together. Now,
we're in it together.
Now, Dayl Dance, you just briefly mentioned your dance academy, which is based in Forge Hill Business Park down in Cork. I know your love and passion for dance. What made you decide to set up a dance school academy, and how is it going? And I know you've had to stop classes due to COVID-19 and everything.
Yeah, I just, one day I was sitting in the car with my dad, and my dad was like, I wasn't doing anything. Like, Dance with Stars had finished, and I hadn't done that for like a month or two. And Dad was like, would you think of opening up your own dance school? And I was like, yeah, I would, but like down the line. And Dad was like, why not now? He was like, your name is out there. Like, you're a bit of a public figure now from Dance with the Stars. Why wouldn't you? And I was like, you know what? All right. That evening, then we looked up venues in Cork, because I was like, look, I want to go to a city. And I went down to Cork because Cork's big enough. And yeah, just kind of a road from there. Opened up in Cork City. I've been open 3 years now, over 100 kids.
Wow.
Which is, considering, like, I kind of went down thinking that there wasn't that many dance schools in Cork, and lo and behold, there was thousands of them. But in saying that, I'm a firm believer in that there's plenty of room for absolutely everyone.
Yes.
And that if you want to come to me, you can also go to these other schools. I'm not going to hold you back from getting as much training as possible.
Yeah.
But make sure you come back, is what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Don't leave me. But
Yeah.
no, I'm a firm believer in that. Like I would encourage my kids to go train elsewhere as well as training with me, because you know yourself, the more training with different people you get different things from everybody. Everybody can give you something different.
Yeah.
What I give you, Mary down the road probably can't give you, but what she can give you, I can't give you.
Yes,
Do you know
exactly.
what I mean? So all different things. I'm a firm believer in that training, you know, even in college kids, like when you're doing your college, you're 9 to 5 or you're 9 to 4 or whatever, get to that class at 6 o'clock to 7 or 7 to 8. Yes, you're tired, but what else are you doing? Like, you know, you train, and then also you're making connections, you're meeting new people.
Yes.
A lot of people know that anyway, but it's sometimes when you're in college and you're in that, like, oh, I'm wrecked now, I just did a full day. Just do those 2 extra classes in the evening, because you never know who you'll meet there, and you never know who will see you. And you like, you know, make the connections, because down the line you could be doing an audition and next thing you met that person in that class that you went to 2 years ago, and they're going, I remember that person, she was unreal, I'll give her the gig. You know?
Exactly. Now, as a boy growing up and that wanted to dance, is part of having your own dance academy one of the reasons you set it up was one of the reasons you set it up to have a place for kids to express themselves in a safe environment? Because boys dancing in Ireland when we were younger wasn't exactly the most popular thing to do.
It wasn't. Unfortunately, I was the only person in the whole of Clonmel that did dancing, the only lads that did dancing. It was tough. Like as everyone would tell you in the industry, like you get bullied because people don't understand this.
Yes.
People are like, he doing that, like, you know, like, why isn't he playing hurling or football or anything? But it's like, it's what I wanted to do, like. But I said I'd set it up for kids to build confidence, because I find dancing really builds confidence in people. Because when you dance, you become a different person. As cliche as it sounds, you do. Like when I'm dancing on stage, I'm not me. I'm like Beyonce or something. I don't know what's going on. You know? But
like, well, at least you think it.
Yeah, exactly. Once I think it, that's all that matters. But it's a safe people to come to dance, to be confident, and just to grow as like kids growing, you know, and meeting people and things like that. And that was kind of mainly why I set it up. Because I love dancing and I love helping kids grow in confidence.
Now, you do have amazing workshops coming up all the time, so go check out Dayl Cronin Dance Academy on Instagram to keep up to date with everything. Now, my last question, Dayl, you do presenting at different events around the country. Can you explain exactly what it is that you actually do?
Yeah, so the last couple of years I've done events called YSI, so they're called Young Social Innovators, and it's where this organization gets TY students to come up with ideas and how to like tackle things that are going on in the world, like poverty and you know, and bullying and things like that. And kids come up with a project and they present it. And basically I just MC the whole event, and I come on and I explain what's happening, and I get the kids like pumped, and you know, get them like doing dances and stuff like that, and introduce all the kids and make them feel comfortable on stage, because it's a nerve-wracking thing, you know yourself. Even here now, like I'm still nervous.
So am I. Like,
like people don't understand that, and I tell them when I present and when I host events, I tell people that I'm like, it's okay to be nervous on stage. Nerves are good, because I'm nervous here talking to you, and I've done this for 3 years.
I'm glad you brought that up, like, because when like even like the last few podcasts I'm doing, and even with you, because me and you are good friends, we like, you know, we talk the whole time, and it's like, even when the camera goes on, it's like, oh no,
you're like, oh no, what do I say? I don't want to say anything bad, but like people nervous, and you need to understand that nerves are good. And like, so even in auditions and stuff, if you're not nervous in an audition, that doesn't mean you don't want it, because you know, I that's just my personal opinion, that you those nerves, because you're not nervous, you're not enjoying it. You know. But no, I host these events and stuff like that, and they're good crack, like, and the YSI team are a great team to work for. They're absolutely brilliant. They really take care of me and stuff. And it's been great. And obviously we had to cancel the events due to obviously COVID-19 stuff. So please God, next year we'll come back. And same with everything else, same with Panto and like schools and stuff like that. Hopefully we can all kind of get back to some bit of normality with social distance and that. So
Well, listen, Dayl, that's all we have time for. And thank you so much for coming on the podcast, and I appreciate you sharing your story.
Not a bother, man. Thank you so much for having me on. And listen, I wish you all the best with the podcast, and please God, you'll remember me when your podcast's famous.
Yeah, the next Joe Rogan, hopefully. But shut up.
Hopefully.
But thanks very much, man. And look, thank you to everyone that's been listening. Remember, subscribe to us on YouTube, Apple Podcast, and Spotify. We're trying to get 100 subscribers across all our platforms, so please help us make that happen. Follow us on Instagram at the Chit Chat Podcast, on Twitter at the Chit Chat _, and on Facebook at the Chit Chat Podcast. Guys, I'm Evan O'Hanlon from the Chit Chat Podcast. Thank you so much for listening.